Hello, my name is Natalie Neal. I'm a Central Region pre-sales intern for Jump, and today I'll be talking about customer voices on shoes, text mining for quality insights. To introduce this a little bit more, companies in the consumer packaged goods industry need to understand what their customers are saying about their products in order to improve their sales and their overall customer satisfaction. And given the large volume of documents that they're receiving, so this can be anything from customer reviews to images or really anything that tells them more about the product. Um, it can be very timely and difficult to assess manually. Another application is for voice of the customer, which is a strategic approach to understanding and aligning with customer wants and needs. And this is a fundamental principle in Lean Six Sigma, which is a process improvement methodology that is used heavily in industry. Analyzing unstructured text data is key to voice of the customer because it eases the translation of verbatims, so whatever the customer is saying, to critical quality measures, so quality or durable shoes, and then to project metrics, so how long the shoe lasts before it's not wearable, and finally to actionable improvements, so actually making your products better. Jump has some really awesome features that allow us to quickly take this messy, unstructured text data and turn it into these very valuable insights very quickly. So Text Explorer is one, and it is a very valuable tool for understanding the voice of the customer by making text data more meaningful. And Jump can also turn text into a set of values that can be used in analysis and for predictive models and so forth. So the data that we are looking at today, it's a bunch of customer reviews on various types of shoes, and customer reviews serve as a valuable resource of feedback for companies. And by leveraging this information effectively, companies can improve their products, strengthen customer relationships, and grow their business. So it can be very valuable, but the problem is, what do we do with all of this data? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. We can see that all of these comments that the customer reviews are in this first column right here. And 10 rows correspond to one type of shoe. So not all of them are full. It just depends on how many reviews there were for the product. And then we have the title of the product here, the brand, we have the price, the average rating, total reviews, product description, shoe type, men's or women's, individual rating, shoe category, and then the general shoe category. So if we were a company, we'd want to read all of these reviews and understand what the customer wants and what they really don't like. So this will be very timely because, as you can see, we have 12,290 rows. So we don't want to spend our whole entire day reading all these comments and trying to understand the key things that people are saying. So the first thing that we'll do in Jump is go to Text Explorer and place all of these reviews in the text column section and just go ahead and click OK. And super quickly, it parsed through all these reviews and created our document term matrix. We can see a summary up here at the top. So 80.7% of our data is full. And then we can see we have about 1,700 terms. And the next thing that we'll want to do is look and see our document term matrix, and we can see that we have the highest count of words up here at the top, so good occurs the most in our data set. And we can see that product and shoe are the next most frequently occurring words, but those are going to just add a bunch of noise to our analysis. So we might not want to see those. So we can right click and just go ahead and add those as stop words so we don't see those. Next, we might want to add all these phrases that Jump has produced to our document term matrix because phrases like good quality or poor quality are much more descriptive than just the word quality. So let's add those phrases. And now we have our nicely curated document term matrix, but personally, I'm a very visual learner and I want to be able to picture the biggest words and the most important problems or what people like the most. I want to be able to picture that. So we can click the red triangle and go to display options and show word cloud. And we can adjust the layout to make this centered and then change the coloring. And this is just going to make it a little bit easier to visualize our word cloud. So now we have a word cloud for our entire document term matrix, so for our whole entire data set. So we can see, despite the type of shoe, comfort is always going to be important. Quality is always going to be important. The sizing and the fit and the price are always going to be important. So despite if the shoe is a running shoe or a flip-flop, those are all key features. But now let's take this from the perspective that we are a Adidas and we want to look at just what people are saying about our shoes. So we can add a local data filter and narrow this down based on brand. And say we want to narrow this down just based on, we want to look at just our running shoes. We don't want to see our basketball shoes. So also we just want to, this as a whole is very noisy, so maybe we just want to look at the good reviews and the bad reviews separately. So if we make these filters conditional, we can just look at the Adidas running shoes that people gave either a 4 or a 5 star, so the good reviews. And we can see, again, comfort is very big, so that is very important. And we can see value for money. So we can see that the pricing of our shoes is very important to people. We can see good quality. Quality is, again, very important. Now, a new thing that I can see is lightweight. Lightweight shoes are important for people when they're running. They don't want to be weighed down. I can see cushioning in here. Durable. I can see all of these words that people like about our shoes. So now we want to take this maybe from the other perspective and look at what people dislike. Why would they rate our shoes so bad? All right, so we can see that the biggest words are fake, duplicate, copy, original, but maybe it's not original. So people think they are not receiving a truly authentic Adidas running shoe. And this can be a huge problem because they feel like they are getting ripped off. Also, the fit is important. So that would be like the worst fit, poor quality, bad quality, waste of money, tampered, defective. So these are all issues that we might want to communicate with people in our company so that they can be fixed. So if we wanted to quickly share this word cloud with someone else, we can go to File, Export, and then select Image, and we can share this word cloud as an image with whoever we like. And we also have all these other options of how we could share this, but image is what I would select for word cloud. All right, next so now that we see what people dislike or like, we have a general idea, but we might want to dive deeper into this and really understand what people are complaining about. And we might also want to be able to rate this on a scale and be able to quantify how much people like or how much people dislike a certain product. So a tool in JMP that allows us to do this is sentiment analysis. So again, we're just looking at those Adidas running shoes. And how sentiment analysis works is JMP has some sentiment terms that it has designated scores for, and those combined with these intensifier terms, they multiply to score the documents based on the words that are held within those documents. So we can look and see that our average score for sentiment is 40.3, and we might want to compare ourselves in the market to another company that makes running shoes. So let's take a look at Nike and see how our 40.3 average rates to Nike. So their average is 58.6. So people are overall feeling better about the Nike shoes and have more positive emotions associated with those than the Adidas shoes. So now we might want to take a look at the most highly rated Nike shoes and see what they are doing better than us. So we can see very impressive and original product. So maybe they don't have as big of an issue with people thinking they're receiving fake or duplicate products. So we might really need to improve upon that. So we can see very good, amazing, amazing lightweight shoes. So their shoes might be lighter than ours. Best in class. We can see all of these. Oh, the product is absolutely the same as per the photo. And as we saw in some of our Adidas reviews, people thought that they were not receiving what they thought they were receiving. So again, we might need to improve upon our marketing and making sure that people understand what they're receiving. All right, so now that we understand a little bit more about what's happening in the market and we're able to really dive deep and look at these reviews, we might want to understand what are the key underlying themes or topics in our data set, but we don't want to go through all 12,000 rows and try and group each review into a certain category. So in JMP, we can quickly categorize all these documents if we do latent semantic analysis, single vector decomposition, and then, let's go ahead and take this data filter off. Clear that. So now we're looking at everything, and then we can perform a topic analysis. So that's going to group all these reviews into 10 topics, and we can see the 10 most important topics or the 10 most important things that people are complaining about in all of these reviews. And if we use our domain expertise, we're able to really understand what these are. So this one has to do with sizing. This one has to do with what we saw in the sentiment analysis, receiving a different product than what was pictured, so wrongful delivery. We might need to improve upon that. We can see this one has to do with comfort. This one has to do with wanting to return or exchange. This one has to do with the package and delivery. This one has to do with the customer service. So we are able to see the 10 most important things that people are willing to provide feedback on and give a customer review about. And so grouping all these 12,000 rows into just 10 topics allows us to see what people prioritize, and we can also see the words associated with those topics and then send that out to maybe someone in our company and tell them what kind of things people are saying when it's related to their department. All right, so now that we perform this analysis and gain these insights, we might want to go ahead and build a model to see which is the most important, what things are the most important. So in predicting, what is the most important in predicting our rating out of 5 stars? So what we can do is we can actually save these document topic vectors, and that is going to give a vector to each document to show us how closely the document aligns underneath each of these different topics. And then if we save our sentiment, that's just going to save this right here, this table right here to our data table. So that is a great way to quantify the text data and quantify the sentiment that is held within. So if we get a save document scores, that will save right there. We can use that in a model. But what I'm going to show you for our Bootstrap Forest model today is we're just going to save some of these terms from our document term matrix. So if we save document term matrix, let's just save like 6. And we can save these either as binary or term frequency inverse document frequency, which is what I'll show you today. And if you click here, it tells you a little bit more about what that is. But let's go ahead and build that model. So if we go to Analyze, Predictive Modeling, and go to Bootstrap Forest, which is a type of ensemble model that averages out a bunch of type of tree models. So we want to predict the average rating out of 5 stars and understand what those driving factors are that are going to help to predict what makes a shoe good or bad. So we're going to put brand in there, price, the total number of reviews, shoe type, men's or women's, the shoe category, and then let's go ahead and add those terms that we saved from our document term matrix. And then let's add a validation column. All right, and we can just go ahead and click OK for all of this. And then it is going to just take a couple seconds to compute. And then we can take a look at our Bootstrap Forest model. All right, so here it is. What we want to look at is this validation column right here. And we can see the misclassification rate is 0.0081. Wow, that is super close to 0, which is what we want. So that Jump did a great job of classifying all these documents. So now we can take a look at our confusion matrix and see how it classified these documents and see where it went wrong. So we can see a couple of these, it just misclassified a 4.5 as a 4.3. So we can really take a look at what the model actually did. And then to gain some further insights, we can look at the column contributions and we can look at the profiler. And these are all under the red triangle. So we can see the total number of reviews was the most important thing. Given that, we might want to share this with someone who would be able to ensure that people are reviewing the product after they purchase it, because clearly the number of reviews might impact someone's decision to buy the shoe or not. So the brand is also important. The price is important. So pricing our product to where people think they are getting a value for money, which is what people were talking about earlier. The category, and then here's comfort again. Again, comfort is very, very important. And looking at the prediction profiler, we can see that this right here is hard to select a brand since we just had so many. So we might want to utilize our local data filter again to just look at maybe the Adidas shoes again. So we can see that validation misclassification rate is 0.0667. That's still pretty good. And we can take a look at what happens when we change around the price. So if we look over here, this is the probability of the shoe being rated 4.2. It is 0.952. So when the price is low, people are going to rate it pretty high. And as we increase the price, 3.9 becomes the most likely rating. But now, as we increase it a little bit more, 4.1 started to get a little bit bigger. So we can see what happens as we change the price of our product. So for example, like people might expect more when the price increases, so they may rate it a little bit lower. And then we can see what happens if we change comfort. So the thing that I see changing is the different types of shoes. So comfort might be more important in, let's see. Comfort might be more important in a basketball shoe rather than a dress shoe. People might not prioritize comfort in a dress shoe as much. So we can gain some really important insights and really do a what-if scenario with this prediction profiler. All right, let's get back to our journal. So another great capability of JMP is that it has its own scripting language called JSL. And this allows you to build custom interfaces tailored to your specific needs. And the GUI that I've created with JSL allows users to select the type of shoe they're looking for in their price range, and then it generates the highest rated shoe based on that selection. So let's take a look at that. And this is just some simple scripting, really just the tip of the iceberg. You can do so much with JMP scripting language, but if you select men's casual shoe and select your price range, it's going to output the highest rated shoe in that category. So if we up it, we can see the Clark men's boat shoes, and maybe we want to look at women's sports shoes. So we can see these New Balance and Nikes are in our price range and they have the same rating, but we might want to go with the one with the more ratings. Um, so yeah, that's just one more capability that you can have with Jump, is the scripting language, and you can really personalize this to your own data set. So, in conclusion, customer reviews serve as a valuable resource of feedback and data for consumer packaged goods companies, but are very hard to make sense out of. Jump has excellent tools that allow us to quickly gain insights from the large amount of unstructured text data. In this demo, we were able to visualize what customers did and did not like about the shoes using the word cloud. We were able to look at what people did and didn't like overall, and we were able to look at what they liked about our company's shoes as well as what they liked about other companies' shoes, and we were able to visualize that and quickly share that with other people. And the next thing we were able to do was to quantify each document or each customer review based on the sentiment that was held within the review. And this was very nice at allowing us to dive deep into what people liked about our shoes and what people liked and didn't like about the Nike shoes, which had an overall higher sentiment. So the next thing we were able to do is categorize each document into topics, which can be very useful for understanding the key factors that people like in their shoes, and for compressing all 12,000 rows just into 10 topics. And next we created a bootstrap forest model that predicted the average star ratings, and we used the key features and we were able to understand the most important key features. And then lastly, we used JSL to make a GUI that can be personalized to your own data set. And that's just one more capability that's pretty cool. And these steps allowed us to quickly develop a better understanding of the customer's voice and extract valuable insights that would have been very difficult and time-consuming without Jump. Jump was able to streamline the process of analyzing that messy, unstructured text data and semi-automate the process, because if someone's just reading through all those comments, it would take a lot of time and also be subject to their bias. So thank you so much for listening today.